Welcome everybody to the first of what I hope to be many instructional videos entitled Limpe Kalukong, where I go through different aspects of a game and try to talk on some of the more strategic aspects of how you can use certain components to better your game. Okay, in this episode, Limpe Kalukong about Pathfinder Adventures, and we're going to be exploring the different types of characters you can use in Pathfinder, and I'll give you some of my opinions on some of the pros and cons of each character. Okay, let's go. We'll use the quest mode as an example because that's where you get majority of, you can see all the different characters, and then later on in the game, if I want to play anybody, I'll just drag and drop from the quest menu. Okay, let's review. There are a total of 11 different characters in the base game. Okay, when you first buy the game, you start with 2 Marisol and Kyra, and they come free. The rest of them come either as an additional purchase. You can buy each of them on their own, or you can just go for the bundle like what I did lah. Just whack the whole bundle, and then you get all 11 characters. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to review every character, but I won't go in the order that you see here at the top of the screen because I don't know what kind of order they put this. It's not even the expansion, and I mean, if you're talking about the card game, it's not even the expansion, the base set characters, it's just, I don't know, just anyhow randomly put. Okay, so I'm going to explain, break them up into different spheres, or archetypes, or classes, if you will, and then I'll talk a bit about each character in that class, and finally I'll give my final thoughts on or the type of party that I like and why that I like it. Okay, first let's talk about the fighters. Okay, the fighters are mainly strength-based characters. In this game, as you can see on Marisol's character sheet, there are a total of 6 different skills. So in each party composition, you want to try and maximize, or at least have characters which try to meet at least 1 or 2 of these different skills, so that all the encounters you come across, you'll be able to roll the optimum dice, or rather dice that is slightly higher than D6. D6 is pretty much the standard, but if you can roll a D8, D10, or D12 for that particular skill, that'd be much better. And one thing to note, I will not be going through the rules of the game. You can find 101 videos out there on YouTube and 101 streams out there on how to actually play the game. So, don't be lazy, go and find those on your own. I will be talking a bit about the characters, assuming that you already know how to play the game. Okay, if not, like what I said, go and look at those videos. Okay, let's start. For fighter characters, there's basically 3 different types of fighter characters. You have your fighter, your paladin, and your barbarian. Okay, let's look at the fighter character first. The fighter in this game is represented by Valeros. Okay, this is his character sheet. Fairly decent. All the different stats are represented except for wisdom, charisma, and intel, which are either average or below average. So it's not too bad if you want to equip him with ranged weapons as well, because his dexterity dice in the D8. And I won't talk about it in this video, but when he levels up after tier 3, you will be able to choose a particular skill that gives him better range abilities. But no, we will not talk about that for now. Okay, let's take a look at his character sheet. He rolls a D10 for strength, and in melee combat, without any weapons, without any buffs, is D10 plus 3. So that's pretty good. Okay, if you say no weapons when you draw your hand, or after you refresh your hand, at least he can still punch the fella with melee strength 3 attack, D10 plus 3 attack. Not too bad. Okay, the rest are pretty clear cutter. One thing to note is that even though his charisma is average at D6, he at least has a +2 when he try and recruit allies. So not too bad. Okay, so that's something to take note. If you want to use Valeros, at least you have a good mix of strength, dexterity, and charisma. Constitution, okay, but so far in this game, the constitution not a major factor. Right, let's take a look at his powers. Okay, fairly standard powers, starts with a hand size of 4. He's proficient in both light, heavy, and weapon. Of course, fighter, no proficient in weapon, is might as well call don't become fighter. Okay, teamwork, adds 1d4 to another character's combat check. When you first see this, you thought, wow, not bad. Maybe you can put him with another character like Lam and somebody else in that. Wow, suddenly got both of them plus whoever else is on their team will get a whole bunch of dice to roll. But later on when I talk about another video, I talk about strategies for positioning of your characters. usually you want to try and spread out as much as you can. So while this ability is good if they are together, I find my own playstyle is to usually spread them out. Okay, that way you can get a proper mix of characters across different locations, and they can explore multiple different locations at the same time. What is good about Valeros is this skill, his weapon mastery skill. It says when you play a weapon, you may recharge it instead of discarding it. Why is that good? Later on when I show you his cards, I'll go through the cards very briefly. When I show you his cards, all melee weapons, or rather most melee weapons, allow you to discard it in order to gain another bonus. So with this dude, you are not discarding, you are recharging it. So your deck does not get thinner. And you get to draw more cards in your turn. You play any kind of card game, draw cards equals to win. Okay, but this one, draw cards and your cards go to discard pile equals to lose. Draw cards and the cards go back into your deck, win-win. Okay, so that's one thing. Play Valeros, whatever melee weapon you get, you fight monster, just throw it away. You will be recharged. Okay, let's do his card list. Decent, cannot cast spells, that's fine. Starts with 5 weapon, very good for his, what I mentioned earlier, his weapon master ability. The other stats are okay, so-so. Armor in this game, not as a big deal. You can easily just have one armor buried, move along, especially with his ability to recharge weapons. Most of the time you find that he'll be winning fights. Okay? The only fights he may not win are those against those stupid harpies which use wisdom instead. And his wisdom is, like I said, it sucks, right? It's D4. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at his deck. Okay, starting deck fairly standard, but I won't go too much into this because it will change even after your first game. Okay, one of the first few things you want to take out from this deck is the stupid dagger. Okay, dagger is not so good for him. Dexterity plus D4, recharge to D4, cannot even discard. Okay, of course he can use it with another weapon to add a D4, that's good. But optimally, you see, so he's technically only rolling D8 plus 2D4. Not too bad, but look at his other weapons. Okay, D8 plus D6 plus another D10. Okay, that's his strength, D10. Okay, so isn't it better? Longsword. Right, so one of the first few things to upgrade, weapon wise, dagger, throw away. Take any other dagger that relies on strength or melee, or any other weapon, sorry, that relies on strength and melee. Okay, let's take a look at the next strength based character, Sila. Sila. Now we look at Sila. Okay. Alright, her stats, fairly standard, not too bad. D8, melee strength D8 plus melee, when it comes to melee combat, D8 plus 2. Not too bad, it's better, not as good as the Valeros, but I'll show you why I prefer her in a while when we come to her powers. The other stats are fairly okay, spread across the board. Her charisma is a D10. Okay, a D10 is pretty good for recruiting allies. She doesn't have the plus bonus that Valeros got, still not too bad. Her wisdom is D8 and she has a divine skill. What this means is that she can use spells like cure, and the cure has a chance to be recharged. So she can cure again and again. Okay, and she starts with cure, so again that's not too bad. Okay, let's take a look at her powers. Very standard and size 4. Light heavy armor, and of course no weapons means you are a cockfighter. Okay, but she has weapons. Okay, Crusade. This is her star ability. Okay, and first chance you get to upgrade to this as well. Okay, yeah, this is one of the star abilities. This one, this is not the one I'm talking about, but this one is not too bad to upgrade. Okay, but this is a star ability. Her next star ability is Inspired Grace. First chance you get, upgrade Inspired Grace, take this one, Immortals Benediction. Very good, I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, what does Crusade do? Start the turn, examine the top card. If it's a boon, put it at the bottom. You might say, why do you want to put a boon at the bottom? What if it's a bloody good weapon? Okay, again, situational. When you explore, when I talk about exploring in a future video, look at where you're exploring. If you're exploring in a deck that has cards that doesn't benefit her, okay, then why you want to keep the cards? Correct, might as well put at the bottom so that your next card might be a villain to close the deck, or might be something better that can benefit her instead. Okay, Inspired Grace. This is why I said D8 plus 2, not too bad, but because of this power, which gives a bonus. Okay, when you do any check at all, you discard the top card of your deck, you get 1d6. That's not the best part. Best part is, if it's a blessing, recharge it. Okay, this means that if you're fighting a monster, for example, you get to roll your strength, you get to roll your damage dice, which is whatever your weapon is, you get to roll another 1d6, 3 dice. Okay, and it's confirmed roll one, it's confirmed roll. It's not a chance to roll, you confirm roll. The chance is if it was a blessing, you recharge. Okay? Yes, that is a bit heng sui, but at least it's something you can do that boosts your check on your turn. And this works for all checks. Okay, you want to get a spell, you find your wisdom a bit too laoya, use the Inspired Grace. Okay, you fighting barrier, you see her dexterity wakana side is a d4, Inspired Grace become 1d4, 1d6. Okay, that's quite good. Alright, so far her deck, okay lah, this one really cannot complain, because starting deck you got good array of weapons, you got a cure. Okay, not too bad. First thing you should do always, when you use Sila, try to upgrade her blessings. Okay, try to upgrade her blessings. Later on, when she levels up, she gets a bonus for this specific type of blessing that she has. Okay, that's Sila. Alright, let's go to the last strength-based character, Amiri. She's a barbarian. Her strength dice is a d12. Not only that, d12 plus 2 when she's fighting. The one of the better ones other than Dolores and Sila. Okay, better than D10, better than D8, but I don't like her. I'll tell you why I don't like her in a minute. Okay, the rest of the stats you see is so only. Constitution, like I say in this and so far the past three adventure packs, right? Constitution doesn't really play that big of a role. Okay, so you might want to use her for strength, wisdom, survival. Okay lah, I guess. Okay, but at least she has a better dexterity than Sila. Okay, although you won't really need to use her for dexterity if you plan your way properly. Okay, anyway, I digress. D12, melee D12 plus 2 is quite a good die. Let's look at her powers. 4 cards in hand, starts with light armor, doesn't start with heavy armor like the rest, and of course, weapon proficiency. Alright, I'll talk a bit about the ability that I don't like first. This is very situational. Okay, why I say this? She's only going to use it if, let's say, there's something that prevents her from doing stuff at the start of turn. For example, some locations say start of turn, make a survival roll. If you fail, some shit happens. You don't want to do that. Use your move fast, end of turn, walk away. When her turn starts, move back to the location. You will not have to do the start of turn effects. Not bad. Okay, so that's one way you can use her move fast. I don't know. When I see people play, I don't usually see them use this tactic lah. But it's quite good. For example, there are some places that say fight a bandit henchman or fight some kunyang. Okay, you don't want to fight the kunyang. You think that I don't want to waste my weapon or don't want sekali I go like shit like that, right? You move away, end of turn. Start of your turn, you start somewhere else, right? Then you move back. Don't have to fight the kunyang. Okay. Alright. Her ability which is a bit lackluster, but it's supposed to be her signature move, is her Barbarian Rage. Okay, what Barbarian says, you may bury a card from your hand to add 1d10 to your strength, melee, or constitution check. Okay, which means that when you're fighting a monster, you get a d12, you get a d10, and you get your weapon dice. Not bad, right? Yes, not bad. If not for the stupid drawback of burying a card. Okay, burying a card means you don't see it forever until the next game. You cannot heal back a berry. You cannot recharge back a berry. Okay, burying is quite a jialat effect lah. So if you can, I prefer not to use her, seeing that we do have the other option of getting Sila or Valerius out, which is a slightly more utility-wise. They are better. They can recharge their cards. They can add the same amount of dice in terms of not as strong as Amiri, but they don't have that big of a drawback. Okay, so my rating out of Valorous, Sila, and Amiri. Sila gets my first pick. She can heal. She can buff herself. Okay. Valorous gets my second pick. Okay, the bonus of adding the dice to additional ally, that's quite a good thing. Okay, and Amiri, I will not play with her. Alright, that's the 3 strength-based characters. let's move on to the dexterity-based characters. Let's start with Maricel. Okay, Maricel's the rogue. Let's take a look at skills. Not bad. As you can see, she's quite a varied skill set. In terms of her dexterity dice, you can use it for stealth, acrobatics, disable. One thing I find that's lacking, she has no range. Okay, so not a big deal lah. But of course, she cannot use ranged cards. Most ranged cards say dexterity or range, but there are some ranged cards say if you're proficient with weapons, but she's not. So I'll get to that later. Okay, not a big drawback, but still a drawback nonetheless. All right, not too bad. Strength D8. If in a pinch, she got no weapon, she can still punch the fella. Okay. Let's look at her powers. Hand size of 5, proficient light armor, and see, she doesn't start with weapon proficiency. So for ranged weapons, some ranged weapons say you don't have weapon proficiency, you suffer a penalty. You don't have weapon proficiency, some shit will happen. Okay, so it's better if you really want to go with Maricel. One of the first upgrades I would suggest, take weapon proficiency. Then she can call all the ranged weapons that you like, no problem. Height is another good ability, but again very situational because of the rule that says when you invade your encounter, it gets shuffled back into your deck. Sometimes you don't want it to get shuffled back into your deck, okay? And then you may draw it again later. It's always better if you fight and get rid of it, or sometimes even if it's a boon, you can evade and get shuffled back. But if let's say you want to plow through the deck faster, then don't evade lah. Just fail the thing and let the thing get banished lah. Unless it's something that you die want your other characters to get, and she cannot roll the correct dice to get it. Okay, what I like about her is her sneak attack. Okay, but again, very situational. Okay, let me see what sneak attack says. If you're an OD character at your location, you may recharge a card to add 1d6 or discard it to add an additional 1d6. Not bad. Okay, which means that even a simple dagger can deal dexterity dice plus 1d4 plus 1d6. Okay, which is not too bad. Okay, drawback, first part. You must be the only character at your location. Start of the game when you're trying to plow through the different adventures, not a problem. She'll probably be the only character at the location. And later on in the game, this effect will not trigger at all. Okay, a bit similar to the Husk's effect, which I will talk about it the next character. A bit similar, except that she has the disadvantage of she must be the one making the combat check, and then she must be the only location at the location. Okay, let's take a look at the cards. Wow, where is her weapon? There, these two, dagger and dart. That's all. Yeah, and she starts with a handful of shit items. Okay, actually not handful lah, but the crowbar, glibness, and vision are quite shit lah. Okay, so what you probably want to do is to get her better items first. Reason being that her preferred card is an item, meaning that even if she got no weapon in hand, as long as she has an item in hand, she will keep that starting hand. Okay, when she first draw the cards. So okay, I prefer the other two dexterity guys. Let's take a look. Sorry, that wrongly. Okay, Husk is the other dexterity guy. He's a ranger, and of course he's a dwarf. Yeah. He's dexterity based, but his dexterity dice is not as good as Marisol, or later on I'll show you the monk. Not as good as that. He's only a D8, but he gets a +3 when he's doing a ranged attack. And as you see on his character, all his weapons are ranged attacks. Okay, so that's a bonus right there. The other dice, I wouldn't talk too much about it. It's pretty much standard. Okay, wisdom is not too bad. You need to get a +2 on both perception and survival checks. Yeah, of course, your dwarf is super bar, so his constitution is very high. Alright, starts with a hand size of 5, proficient in light armor and weapons. Good. Scout Ahead is an ability to look at the top card of the deck at the end of your turn. Why is this good? This is super undervalued by a lot of people I've seen playing it. End of your turn, look at the top card of your deck. If your deck is a spell, ask the spellcaster kinetic. If your deck is a monster and you find that you got no weapons, ask someone with the ability to kill the monster to kinetic. Okay, so it sort of sets up your next turn, and it combos very well with the wizard. Okay, I'll explain the wizard later when I come to the part about the different spellcasters. Okay. Sniper shot, key ability. Always upgrade this if you have the chance to. Okay, let's take a look. You may recharge a card to add 1d4 to a combat check in another location. Recharging is king in this game. Discard and banish will have better effects, but those cards are gone. You never get them back. unless heals or whatever nonsense. Okay, but recharging a card lets you give you the potential to draw it back again. Okay, and there's one trick that I like to do with him. People say that, oh, but then only if he's at another location. Towards the end of the game, they all cluster clock at the same place, then he cannot use his sniper shot anymore. Not true. Whenever it's his turn, let me give you this trick. Whenever it's his turn, if everybody's at one place and you don't want him to explore, start of his turn, move him away and just end your turn. Why you do this? End your turn so that when other people has a combat check, he can not only sniper shot in all of his ranged weapons, he can discard at another dice if he's at another location. So, bonus. Alright, out of the three dexterity-based characters I show you, I give you a spoiler, this guy's my favorite. Okay, not only because he's a dwarf, but because his abilities are good. Okay, standard deck. Yes, holy water. Please still tell after this. No need to use already. Get a better item. His actually 5 weapons are pretty good. If you need to change any weapon, the sling will be the first one to go. Alright, last dexterity-based guy is a human monk. Alright, fairly standard stats. Does not have rage. That's fine. I'll show you why that's fine in a minute. He is a machine. A beating, blessing machine. Okay, tell you why in a minute. Dexterity dice not too bad. Of course, his strength dice is slightly below, slightly average. Unfortunately, I can tell you, when you fight with this dude, you don't need weapon, you don't need any kind of thing at all. He will automatically use his dexterity dice. Let's take away his powers. You see, 没有 proficiency, nothing at all. But he has a skill called unarmed strike. Always use dexterity when fighting. Who needs weapons? Throw away all the weapons. Okay, give the weapons to the other guys that can use. Find a sword, give to the fighter. Find a bow, give the dwarf. No need weapon. Just use your dexterity dice. Yeah, just keep on recharging the blessings, and you see that actually towards the end, he has actually 8 blessings. So confirm he will draw at least 1 or 2 in the starting. And then you recharge, and then he will confirm draw more again. Okay? So I said he's a blessing machine. Okay? I think you don't need to look at his deck, he's just chock full of blessings. And of course his number 1 item is the Amulet of Peace. Okay? You cannot play a spell or you cannot play a weapon, but you review this, you add 1d4 in the magic trait. Later on you'll be able to upgrade this to a slightly more version, the Lightning Fist. But this is very good as it is. Okay, that's your 3 dexterity-based characters. I will go ahead to talk about all the spellcasters together in one shot. So I won't split out into arcane or divine. Let's just talk about all of them. Okay, and I'll of course tell you which are more arcane-based or divine-based, better for healing or better for attacking. Alright, this is Kyra. She's a human cleric. Not too bad. You see, even though she's a cleric, she still has a d6 plus 2 when it comes to punching the bad guy. She still has a melee attack. Okay, so not too bad. And she holds weapons. Okay, but her strength lies in her wisdom. Okay, her wisdom is a d12 plus 2. Let's take a look at the powers. She has the ability to become weapon proficient. She doesn't start with it, but she can level it up later on when she goes along. Okay, she only has 2 skills, and both are okay. Actually, for Kyra, her ability lies in her skills, her 2 powers, her ability lies in her skills and her touch. She has the ability to heal. You might find if you use these too often, you will run out of time. Okay, why? Because it takes up your exploration for that turn, or rather your first exploration for that turn. Okay, so instead of your first exploration for that turn, you can review a card as a divine trait and heal one other dude at your location, including yourself. Okay, and after that, you discard the card that you reviewed. Not too bad if you need it in a pinch, although heal spells are probably better. Okay, because heal spells you got to discard the heal spell anyway. Okay, but this helps you do it even though you don't have a heal spell. Okay, for enemy law undead is actually very useful in the basic and the number 1 scenario pack because you'll be meeting a lot of characters with the undead keyword, and this will help you to clear them quite fast. Okay, quick look into her deck. Yep, standard deck with majority of healing spells, cure, guidance, bending, 2 melee weapons. You might want to replace the quarterstaff as soon as you can. She probably does a lot of damage with her melee attacks too. Take spellcaster. Sione the sorceress. Okay, let's take a look at her skills. Blech. Her strength is blech. D4. See, very lousy. But look at her higher stat. Charisma. D12 and she, arcane attacks get a D12 plus 2. Don't worry about her strength because she has a power that will allow her to never ever use her strength when fighting. Okay, I'll explain that. Let's look at her powers. Okay, standard 36 cards in hand, and she has arcane blast. You see? For your combat check, you may discard a card to roll your arcane blast plus 1d6. So even if you don't have any spells in your hand, you can discard any card to roll 1d12 plus 2 plus 1d6. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, and of course she has the ability to automatically recharge all her arcane spells. Okay, she starts with a couple Force Missile. Replace the invisibility as soon as you can. Okay, with another either Force Missile or Lightning Touch, which you should get in the first few packs. Okay, what I don't like about her is she's so good with spells, she only has 3. Of course, she can use the rest for attack as well, but don't forget the rest that she uses will be discarded and not recharged. Whereas these 3 will always be recharged upon use. Okay, very okay number of allies and blessings for moving. Right, Lem. Lem is pretty much the most versatile character in the whole game. Even though his strength is only D4, his other stats are either average or above average. Plus, he can cast both arcane spells as well as divine spells, and he has a very good dexterity dice for using ranged weapons. Okay, so in a pinch, if you don't like the other 3 range characters, you can use Lem. So, or if you're running only a 2-party character, Lem is one of the very good choices for one of the 2 members. Okay, very good stats. I won't go through too much. You can see he also has very high diplomacy, very good at recruiting allies. Okay, very standard, no proficiency at all. Body performance is one of the pretty good skills that he has, where you can recharge a card to add 1d4 to any check by a character allocation. Like I said, if you're the type of player like me who likes to spread out his guys very early in the game, this check will not be used very often. Okay, but towards the end, you will use this check very often. Where you just throw recharging cards to adding 1d4 to any check, combat check, barrier check, any check, you'll get a 1d4. Okay, but I think his key ability is his versatile performance. At the start of your turn, you may discard 1 card from your hand, add 1 card of the same type from your discard pile to your hand. Confusing? Okay, not really, but let me explain to you how it works. Imagine if he has a bunch of cards in his hand, and one of those cards happens to be a cure spell. What he can do is that on his turn, he plays the cure spell, curing any bugger either around him or himself. After the cure, don't recharge the card, just discard. Okay, just discard. Start of your next turn, you take any other spell in your hand, you discard it, you bring back the cure spell, and you can use it again. Okay, so it's a cycle that he creates, and of course he can cure the card that he discarded back into his deck again, and repeat ad nauseum, so on and so forth. Okay, doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't only work with cure. It works with any card that he has. Okay, so it's pretty good. Let's take a look at his deck. Like I said, cure. Try and get rid of the sanctuary strike lah. These 2 sanctuary strike not very useful. Okay, starts with a crossbow. That's the other thing about Lem. He has no specific favorite card, meaning that at the start of the game, you choose which card he wants to start with. Most of the time, I will choose weapon so that he confirm will always start with the crossbow in hand. Okay, if you choose spell, then he might not be able to get that cure spell, and he might get some other top spell. But you choose weapon, confirm he'll get that one weapon in his deck in his hand. Okay, and he'll be exploring a lot because he has the ability to call a lot of allies. Okay, let's move on to my favorite spellcaster in the game, Urza. Why is he my favorite? You ask. His stats are sucky. Yeah, quite lah. Okay, the only thing he's probably good at is intel and wisdom. Okay, but actually you'll be using him for his intel a lot more than you will Phantom. Alright, let's take a look at his powers. 6 cards start hand. Okay, why I say it's good is because of this ability, Eldritch Exuberance. If you acquire a card that has a magic rate trait during exploration, you may immediately explore again. What this means is that if you can buy your cards and stack on top of the deck, sweet until they got magic all the way, he can just plow through the whole damn deck. Okay. How you do this? You need spells like Augury. You need characters like Husk, the Dwarven Ranger that I spoke to earlier. Okay. They will look at the card. If it's a spell, wow, you just call the wizard over, he will explore, he gets it, go again and again and again until he stops getting a magic card. Okay, super explorer. Although one drawback is that he doesn't have any blessing. Okay, so he relies on his ally in order to generate the extra exploration in case he doesn't have a card with a magic trait. Okay, that being said, although he has a very high arcane, D12 plus 2, I will try to not give him so many attack spells and give him more spells that will allow him to either move again or will allow him to look at the top card of decks and try and arrange that all the magic items are at the top so they can explore faster. Okay, I've ever had a game where I had Ezreal explore the whole freaking deck in one turn. Of course, through use of allies, through use of this spell called Haste, which allows you to explore again. Okay, and through other means, of course, if the deck is blessings, you can get it and use it straight away to explore again. Number one wizard pick for me. Alright, the last spellcaster, Lini. She's pretty much a healer. You can see she has a divine skill of D10 plus 1, not too bad. Okay, dexterity of D6, below average. That's why I don't like. Look at her two base combat skills, strength and dex, D4 and D6. She cannot carry weapons, okay, but she doesn't need to carry weapons. Why? Because she has this special ability that allows her to transform into a beast. I'll show you that in a minute. But she does take a higher than normal level amount of skill to play, and I don't play her not because I got no skill to play her, but because she can run into a string of bad lucks. Okay, where you have no proper animal cards and you die, you just die on the floor, cock standing, you cannot do anything. Okay, let's take a look at her powers. Starts with a hand size of 5, cannot be increased any further, which is also another reason why I don't really like her. No proficiency, but that's fine, she doesn't need it. Okay, she does start with this very, very useful skill called power for animal trick. Animal trick allows you to review an animal to plus 1d4 to any check. Combat check, any kind of check, you just show the bloody animal, you get a 1d4. Okay, very useful. Her wild empathy allows you to explore with an animal and recharge it instead of discarding. Okay, most of the times I will use this for exploring and not for the other animal effect. Just discard to explore and then recharge it instead. A beast form is why I say that you don't really need weapons for her check. Okay, discarding a card allows her to roll an additional 1d10 instead of her strength or dexterity die. And this will help not only in combat checks but also for certain barrier checks that require you to use dexterity. However, this 1d10 cannot be boosted unless you have put in your skills here. Okay, meaning you can't get, like, if it's a melee check, he doesn't get the melee bonus, you just get a normal strength bonus. Okay, drawback is if it says recharge, I tell you I will use her like no tomorrow, but it says discard. So that is one drawback. You have to decide one to discard or one to keep so that I can use it later in the future. Right? Good thing is she can heal. So after discarding, she can of course use a cure spell to bring it back again. Okay, she only starts with 3 allies, so one of the first few things I will do when upgrading her card list is give her more allies, and of course all the dog, cat, bird, cock, everything animal pass to her. Animals help her in 2 ways. Whenever she recharges a card, okay, whenever she recharges discards an animal, it gets recharged instead, and it will allow her to review to add plus 1d4. Alright, so that's a brief summary of all the different characters in Pathfinder the Adventure card game, or Pathfinder Adventures for the iPad. Now, my top 4 characters, why I say top 4, usually when I play this game, I tend to only take 4 characters with me to go on a party. Anything more will increase the number of locations you have to explore, and that is not really optimal. Anything less, and you might feel that you might not get the full list of skills that you might need to go through a particular adventure. Okay, my top 4. Fighter, Sila. Okay, good fighting skills, ability to recharge, not ability to add an additional dice when she uses her buffing ability is very powerful. Okay, if you're looking for an adventure where all you have to do is just plow through it very quickly and don't care about what the hell you get in the adventure, ability to discard the top card, not discard, put the top card at the bottom is a boon, also very useful. Okay, number 2, I think I've said this many more times than necessary, Erzan the Wizard. Okay, my number 2 character, Super Explorer, can fight in a pinch. Okay, if need be, his strength dice is quite high for a spellcaster. D6 is much better than the D4 that the other spellcaster has. He starts with a weapon. Okay, he has a quarterstaff. You can give him a sword, no problem. He doesn't need to get weapons from PvC. That's only once in a while you ever come across instances where you need to use a sword for him. Okay, my healer of choice is Kyra. Okay, why? Because again, she can fight if need be. She has a very good wisdom, divine wisdom roll. Okay, and in case anything goes bad, she can still use any card to heal. Although I don't really use this that often. I use it purely for her initial stat skills and her current weapon and her current items in the deck. So not too bad. Not items, current cards in the deck. So that's not too bad. Rounding up the party is Ask the Dwarfling Ranger. Okay, he is solo king. Go one corner, relax, while the rest explore, and then you just help them to start all the combat skills. Okay, helps because some of them, even though my party, you know, their combat melee strength quite high. With Husk, they're very hard to fail combat checks. Okay, only drawback is with Husk is that it's very hard for him to keep exploring because he has quite limited in his ally, only one ally. 5 blessing, usually sometimes I use that to try and acquire stuff. Okay, so that's the first episode of Limpei Galukong. A very brief character analysis of all the different characters in the Pathfinder Adventures card game. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found it educational. If you have comments or questions about why I picked this character, or you don't agree, you thought oh you picked this kind of character, please let me know. And if you have suggestions on what I should do for my next video, please drop me a message or just put it down in the comments as well. Okay, till then, this is Pavo signing off, and I'll catch you again.